Let's get started on the homepage activity. So first, you might want to review HTML. If you go through this activity and you're having a hard time, you can go ahead and look through these readings that you've read on past assignments and then, of course, past Khan Academy lessons. They'll be super helpful this lesson if you have forgotten anything. Okay, so next is you want to verify that you're set up correctly. Again, the software activity we went through should have given you the correct code that you need. If you don't have the right code, you need to go to that activity again. And there is a video of me walking through that in the week 1 announcement if you need that. So let's verify the setup. So here's my code. Now the page that we're going to work on is the index.html. This is the default homepage. Now we want to make sure that the content looks correct. Okay, so we should have a title, these meta tags, it should link to our style sheet, and then we should have a logo box and a few items in our navigation list. Okay, it looks about right. There's one extra item in our navigation list, but that's okay. And then I'm just going to fix the indenting there. Okay, so that looks good. Now we want to, it talks about naming files for the web. So again, web pages are case sensitive, so watch out for that. Okay, now we're going to look at the head element. So you'll see here that we have the meta char set is UTF-8. If you remember from your Khan Academy lesson, that just means that we are going to use alphanumeric characters, or that might not be the right word, but English characters. We're not using Arabic or anything like that that has different kinds of characters. Let's see. What's next? What else do we have to look for? We have the meta tags, give the browser information to help it build the web page. Yep. Okay, so yeah, we're just talking about that char set, and then the viewport helps for different screen sizes. As you continue through web design and development, you'll learn more about this as you continue. For now, just know that this is how we're going to use it. We're going to set it to the device width with a scale of 1. Okay, now we want to change the title. So here it gives an example: whitewater rafting vacations, dry or boating home. So I am going to call it, let's see, if we go back to my site plan, let's see, what did I name it? Wet Paddle is what I named mine. So if I go back to my site plan, or my index page, sorry, then I can go into the title here and change it to Wet Paddle River Rafting Home. Okay, and now if I view that, then I can see it up there. Wet Paddle River Rafting Home. Perfect. Looks great. Okay, so here we have the wireframe. It's going to really help if you keep the wireframe up while doing this assignment. So we have our header, the main section, and the footer there. So again, we are just doing the HTML, so no colors and styles this week. All right, let's talk about framing with semantic elements. Let's go through each step here. So here you're going to need to read through this content, and if you haven't yet, go ahead and pause this video and do that, and read those, because you need to learn more about the HTML semantics that we're going to use. For now, I am, again, hopefully you paused this and read through that, and now we're going to move on. So we have our navigation here and our main tag. So now we're going to add a main tag and give it a div with a banner box class and then a home grid class. So let's go through that. Okay, so here's my header. Now right below my header, I want to create, and I'll make sure it's indented correctly, my main section. That's a semantic element right there. And I'm just gonna, okay. Okay, and now we are doing 2 divs. And we had classes for each. Oop. Needs to be inside the tag. Oops. And I can't remember what those classes were. Banner box and home grid. Okay. And then this one will have a class of home grid. Perfect. The train is going by. Sorry, I hope it's not too loud. Okay, so now we have that. Oh, and we need to add our footer. So that's another semantic element that we want to make sure that we have. The footer needs to be below the main section. Okay, so now we have that. All right, now we're gonna add content, step 5. So I have my wireframe open and handy, just like it says. And now I need to find the blocks of text. Okay. And then it also talks about finding images. So if I click here, we have our rafting images, and we can go ahead and use these in this assignment if we would like. Okay. So now we're going to start framing. Okay, header content. So let's work on our header. So we have the image link open. I had my window open and a bee just came inside. So hopefully it doesn't come over here. Anyway. Header content. So we want to add our image into the header, and it needs to have the alt tags and the source tags. Hopefully you remember what those do, but we'll talk about that in a second. So I need to get my logo on there. So let's go back to my site. So it says my logo box, or my logo is going to go in the logo box. And then I think this is too indented. Let's fix that. Okay. So now I can create my image tag. Oops, I have caps locks on, sorry guys. So image tags, again, they don't have a closing tag. So it's just the one image tag. And I can add my source. Right now I'll leave it blank for a second. And then my alt tag. And we'll say this is wet paddle river rafting logo. Okay, now if I do the show next to code, you guys remember the alt makes it so that it has a description if for some reason the image doesn't show up. And then also for anyone who uses assistive technology, will have their screen reader be able to read that description. So now let's get the source. Now if I go to my site plan, well, I want to view my site plan, sorry. Okay, let's go to change URL and we'll go to siteplan.html so I can check out my site plan. Okay, I picked out this wet paddle logo, so that's the logo I want to show up here. So let's reset that so I'm back on my home page. And I downloaded that logo last week for that assignment, so it's still in my assets. So I can just copy that, go back to my index, and then put that in there, the source. Okay, looks great so far. Let's go back to the instructions and see what's next. Okay, next we need to finish the menu. So there's a few elements already in there, and I need to add the rest of my list items. So again, if I check out my site plan again real fast, then I can remember that I chose FAQ and blog as my child pages. Now, if you want to use different child pages, that's okay. But for now, I'm going to use those same ones. So blog, FAQ. Okay, so right now they're in the list, but they haven't linked yet. It's okay this week if they don't link. However, I'm still at least going to create the anchor tags, which is the link tag, to get them in my list. And if you don't have a link for it yet, you can just put the hashtag or # in there. And then also it's up to you. You can remove some of these other links if you want to. You do need to keep your home page. I'm going to keep for now my site plan just because I keep referencing it. But later I can pull this off of my list if I want to. Okay, next part. Next we need to add the banner. Okay, so we opened up those images and now we're going to actually use them. So let's look through the images and find banner images. These long ones are banner images. I really like this one, so I'm going to use this one. So hopefully if you watched last week's video, you know how to do these different parts. You can either save image as and then upload it as an asset, or you can copy the image address, which is what I'm going to do for this assignment. Okay, so now we have our banner box, and I'm going to put my image tag in there and paste that link because I just copied the image address, so now I can paste it in, and then put my alt tag, which is Calm River, yeah, in a canyon, yeah. Okay, so there's my banner. And let's look at the wireframe real fast to see what we've done so far. So we have our logo, right? And we have our navigation, which right now is displaying as a list. Logo, navigation, and now we have our banner as well. So here's our banner. So far it doesn't really look like our wireframe, but if you watch those wireframe videos, you know that that's okay because we're going to get to styling it later. Okay. Now we need to add the main content. So we're going to create, let's see, we're going to create in our home grid that we created, we're going to put the H2, a paragraph, and then an image. So here's my paragraph text, and I'm just going to use the same text. So if I go back in, here's my home grid section. I'm going to put my H2 tag in there. What was it? We run rivers to relax. I don't remember. And there's my paragraph. Now, there were also some class names that we needed. So we needed the home headline 1 and home paragraph 1. Okay. Now remember with classes, they need to have no spaces. Okay, see, no spaces. And then I also mentioned an image tag, right? Yep, here's my image tag with the class home right image. Okay. Now, why does it have the class home right image? Let's check out our wireframe. This image here is going to hang out on the right. So that's why it has that class, because later we're going to use that class to style it to the right. And then we also have this headline and this text here. Okay, now we need to create the next section. So you can do the same thing, but do home headline 2, home paragraph 2, and then home left 2, or home left image. Or did I do that first class wrong? No, I didn't. I did it right. So, okay, now you're going to do this again, but you are going to do the second one. So, I'm not going to do that one with you because I want you to try to do that one on your own. But just know you would do it the same way. But the image, I didn't put an image in yet, did I? So, let's find an image that I like. And the activity talks about other images, how to get other images, so you're welcome to do that as well. So I'm just going to copy the image address, go here because my image only has a class right now, so it needs the source. And then it also needs an alt tag. So let's see, red raft going through rapids. Okay. All right, so I can see those images in there, and I have my headline and my paragraph, and then again, you're gonna have to do this again because if we look at the wireframe, we did the first section, but you still need the second section. Now it talks about finishing up the main content. So if we look at the wireframe, there's one last section down here that says come run with us. So let's check it out. They put it into a section and they give it the class home paragraph -3. So let's do that. Okay, so I'm still in the main section here. Let's check real fast. I don't know if they want to put it in the home grid or if it's separate. Yep, inside at the bottom of the home grid element. So here is our home grid div. So we're going to put a section inside of it. And then we're going to put another heading, a second level heading. And what did it say again? I always forget. Come run with us. Okay. And then our paragraph text, which I had copied, so I'm going to paste it in there now. And then I think add some classes on it too. Oh yeah, so our section needs to have the class home paragraph -3. And that's going to help us style it later. Okay. So let's go back to the instructions. Now we have that. And now we just need to do our footer content. So inside of our footer, we're going to create a paragraph that has the copyright symbol. So I'm just going to copyright that. I'm going to copy that. Now go into my footer. Oops. You see what I did? I just lost my bracket, so let's fix that. Okay, and now we're going to put a paragraph. Copyright symbol. It's 2020 as of me doing this video. And then what else was I supposed to put? The site name, my first and last name, and my section. Okay, so my site name is, I already forgot, Wet Paddle, I think. Wet Paddle. Sister Brodnicki. And then section 1004. You might not be in this section. Be sure to check what section you're in, okay? This is just an example. Alright, so now I have my footer, I have this section. The only thing that I'm missing is the second section with the text and the image. And then I think that's it. Oh, now we verify. So we are going to go to the HTML validator. And I'm going to do validate by direct input and copy my code here and paste it. Let's see if it's valid. Okay, so it told me one thing. Said consider adding a lang attribute to the HTML start tag to declare the language of this document. Oh yeah. So if you want to see more information about any of these warnings that you get, you can click this information here and it will tell you more about it. So here's more about language. Talks about how to declare the language of the site. Usually they give examples. Sometimes it is hard to read the spec, but it is good. Good to look through these things. So anyway, I am just going to ignore that error for now because this is how much we've learned so far in the class. But that is something you need to do, is run it through the validator and make sure that there's not any crazy errors that you do need to fix, okay?